Hi book friends, this is Kat and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have my stack of books to read for the Southern Charm Readathon, and this is hosted by Amanda from Book Lover Amanda, and she has a lot of co-hosts. I know Chrissy from Chrissy's Purple Library is also one of the co-hosts, and there are many more, so I would suggest to check out her channel so you can get all the co-hosts and their names. But yeah, I was debating whether or not to do a readathon this month. It's just busy month in general, and I decided that if I can get through the books, great. If I can't, well, that's fine too. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the readathon. I am from the South, so I've heard some of these phrases before and I think it's really cute, and so I want to be able to participate in this and support other channels. So anyway, let me go ahead and get my reading journal. Okay, so my reading journal has all the prompts down, and they are in a bingo style board. And I did use some books that I already have from my current TBR this month. So first saying, bless your heart, read an emotional or heartwarming book. And I say bless your heart sometimes, so I understand that saying. But this book is what I'm choosing, and that is Burning Sky by Lori Benton. If you have seen my other video, this is part of the Christie Award Winners Book of the Year, and so I'm listening it to audio. And from the book's premise, it is about a girl who grows up with the Mohawk Indians. She did have a previous family, but she gets taken as a preteen to the Mohawk Indians, and then she comes back to the American colony, back to her original family, or tries to find them. And she is stuck between two worlds because she did grow up with the Mohawks. She adopted a lot of their ways, but then when she goes back, she finds herself as an outcast. And so the story pretty much ensues from there. It is very emotional, very touchy subject, but just what she's going through is tough, and that's what I chose for this prompt. The next prompt is sweet tea, and that's the only way I kind of like my tea. I like it sweet. I don't like hot teas. I try to get into those, but I am actually a coffee drinker. So I've heard if you are a coffee drinker, sometimes, or more than likely, you may not be a tea drinker, and vice versa. But I don't know how true that is. But so sweet tea is something sweet in the cover, or something, or a sweet story. And so I'm going to choose a sweet story. And that one is going to be Part of My World by Jodi Benson. This is the story of the voice of the Little Mermaid. So if you're familiar with that Disney movie, this is the lady who voices the Little Mermaid. And I feel like it's going to be a sweet story because she talks about faith and just her journey through her career, and like how God plays into it, and her family. So I feel like it'll be a very sweet story. The next prompt is Hot as Blue Blazes. Read a book with a hot setting. I've never heard the saying Hot as Blue Blazes. That's one of the ones where I didn't grow up hearing or saying. But nevertheless, in the South, it is very hot. We are currently fluctuating between cold weather and very muggy hot weather. And so in my last video, it was pretty cold in that weekend in April, and then now it's like gonna hit 90s today. So we're in that season where it's like really changing. So anyway, A book with a hot setting. This one I'm going to choose Queen of Catway by Tim Crothers. Either Crothers or Crothers. This one I happened to find, I think not the Netflix, the Disney Plus movie, and I know that there was a book, so I like to read the books if I can before I watch the movie adaptation. From what I know about this book, it is about a girl in an African village, and she is, I guess, into playing chess, and she becomes very good at it, and that's literally all I know about it. So I am intrigued with the book, and I want to watch the adaptation right after I read it. So the next prompt is Heavens to Betsy, and my husband says this one a lot. And he actually got me saying it, but this one is read a book that with the mystery or thriller that will shock you. So this one I chose Vendetta by Lisa Harris, and Lisa Harris I've just recently discovered this year. She writes a lot of like thriller mystery books, and I have been very impressed at just how she ties her stories all together, especially through a series. And there are a lot of hard-hitting moments, and I couldn't guess what all that would happen. At least the first series I've read, I couldn't guess where it was going. But she is a gifted writer, I think, and if you want like that thriller, fast-paced series, her topics are a bit hard, at least the ones that I have read about, but they're like real life, they could be real life things going on in society. I honestly don't really know much about Vendetta, just that it is a mystery and thriller. I kind of want to go with it a little blind just because I feel like that is part of the fun in it. Next prompt is All the Fixins, book with multiple genres. All the Fixins, I have heard of that before. Don't really use it as much, but we've had said that before within my family. So this one is for All the Fixings. It is Dust by Kara Swanson, and this one is characterized as, I think it's fantasy, it's Christian fiction, and I think that's all that I've read about it on Goodreads, but it's a retelling of Peter Pan. Oh, that's another one, retelling. So it's a retelling of Peter Pan, and Wendy is looking for her brother who has gone missing. Peter Pan is stuck in London, and then they realize, I guess these two pair up to try to find their way to Neverland. It is part of a duology, and I know also Amanda has recommended this on her channel for book recommendations, and I happened to pick it up during my TBR game, and so I figured I would add that for that prompt. Okay, the next one is Chicken and Dumplings, read a comfort read. And Chicken and Dumplings, I don't particularly eat, but I know that was, again, that is a saying, and as well as my sister, she particularly likes chicken and dumplings. So this one, for the comfort read, I am going to choose one of the oldest books on my TBR, and that is 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. Okay, so this book is about a girl who receives letters from her aunt, and the aunt, she leaves the woman whose name is Jenny. So she leaves Jenny envelopes as well as money to go and travel Europe. There's 13 envelopes, and the woman, she opens them as she goes through Europe. At least that's from my understanding. And what drew me to it was like it's traveling. there is the aspect of like a scavenger hunt, I feel, because if you're opening envelopes, to me, I feel like, well, what's in there? There's a mystery probably in there about like what these envelopes contain, and yeah, so I like to travel. We haven't been doing much traveling recently, but when we can, we used to take like 4 trips a year. And that's just because I really do like traveling. I love history, so a lot of the places that I do go are saturated with historical monuments or just anything dealing with history. And so that's why I picked this one up. I know it's a secular fiction. I've never read anything from Maureen Johnson, so I'm curious to see if I would like it. But yep, that's all I know about it. So hopefully it's a clean book as well. I don't think it is a romance, because typically I don't like to read secular romances, but we'll see. So that's what I'm gonna do for comfort read, because of the traveling aspect to it. So okay, the next one is, hey y'all, read a book with more than one POV. I do say hey y'all a lot. I say y'all a lot, and I don't think it shows as much on my videos, but in my everyday speech, I do say that. So this one, yeah, spot on. But the book that I chose for multiple POVs is the second book in the series, and that is Boohoo by Renee Gutteridge. And I loved her first one. I gave it 5 stars. And I was hoping to get into this one last month, didn't get a chance, but now it's on the TBR. And I know the covers look a bit creepy. It is not at all a creepy book. From where we last left off in the first book, it's about a guy who writes horror novels, but early on in the book, he decides that he wants to leave that life and follow Christ. And he's basically like a baby Christian going through that first part of the book. And his town, his community that he lives in, they don't like it, especially since his horror novels were based a lot about the town that he is living in, and the town is called Scary, Indiana, and the townspeople basically profit from his books. Like the horror novels that he wrote, they basically use those ideas to make business. So like the restaurants there, they're called the Haunted Mansion, and a lot of their, food is based off of horror elements and stuff. So so business there, it becomes like this tourist attraction. So when he decides he no longer wants to write novels, they're a bit nervous about what that means for the business of the town. So it is a cute romance too. I did enjoy that part, but basically you're getting everyone's different points of view through just this, what they're going through during this transition he's doing into Christianity. So I thought it was hilarious, and I'm hoping a lot more of that is in book 2, which I'm very curious to see what else is going to happen. So that is my pick for more than one point of view. Okay, the next one is Howdy Partner. This is a book that's featuring friendship or family. And so Howdy Partner is not one that I typically say. I mean, when we joke around with each other, when we were younger, we used to do Howdy Partner when we would play little like Western games, I guess. But I guess you hear more of it at the state fair. So yeah. Anyway, so this one, I'm going to focus more on family, and that is Indivisible by Travis Thrasher, and this is One Marriage, One Family Under God. It is inspired by true events, and I'm just going to read the back so it can give a synopsis. But it's Darren and Heather Turner. They share a passion for serving God, family, and country. When Darren is deployed to Iraq as an army chaplain, Heather vows to serve military families back home as she cares for the couple's 3 young children. Darren knows he oversees to support the troops in their suffering as their chaplain. What he doesn't know is how he will get through his own dark moments. And as communication from Darren dwindles, Heather wonders what is happening in her husband's heart. Meanwhile, she's growing weary in the day-to-day life of a military base. Each child's milestone Darren will never see, each month waiting for orders, each late night knock on the door. When Darren returns, he is no longer the husband Heather once knew. She is no longer the woman Darren wed. And so it's at home that the Turners face their biggest battle, to save their marriage. So this is also a movie, and I want to see the movie. I love it. I think for me, a lot of military, I like a lot of military-based books, especially when it deals with serving the country and relying on God and just family, and all of those are pretty much buzz topics for me. So can't wait to get to this one. I'm gonna try to save this closer to Memorial Day weekend. I feel like that would be a nice read. Okay, so the last one was a free space. For this one, I decided to go out of my comfort zone. So that is Keeper by Kathy Alpelt. And this is actually I guess it's a middle grade, but or a children's book. I don't know if it's either middle grade or children's, but it is younger. So I say this is out of my comfort zone because I don't typically gravitate towards children or middle grade books, but I decided to take this one, and it does look thick, but the pages and chapters are really not that bad. They go really fast. This book is about, I'm trying to remember, but from my understanding, it's about a girl who whose mother might be a mermaid, and she tries to find her mother, and that's all I know about it. So I haven't read anything about this author, and I picked this one up actually by random. I was looking through my A to Z challenge, book list, and I noticed that as I was going through to see if I can find a book to put for the letter K, that I didn't have a letter K book title already on my Goodreads. So I decided to look up, books that start with the letter K, and I figured middle grade and children's books would be my best shot to find a book that started with the letter K. So I looked there and I saw that they had on their Keeper. And so I remember just looking at the synopsis kind of quickly and went to my local library and found it, and there we go. That's how I got this. So yeah, I hope it's good. It's not a series, so that's great. It's actually a standalone, so if I didn't want to add another series right now, but yeah, I'll let you know how that goes. So that was my Southern Charm Readathon, and I think I could get a good majority of these books read. Some of them were from my May TBR video, so I have to read them first anyway, but I cannot wait to see everybody else's TBRs for the Southern Charm Readathon if you are participating. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.